Good morning, everybody. So today it is a cup of tea with Misty, and I have my cup of tea right here. So cheers to you. I'm hoping you're all well today. We are continuing the theme of Overwhelm today. Now today I promised you yesterday, in fact, that I was going to tell you a wee story about me. Going back just over 3 decades now, and I was working for British Aerospace. I was some form of an assistant. I can't even remember particularly which department it was. I remember that we were set a task of investigating the stress effects after the Falklands War on our dear soldiers, and how this had affected them, post-traumatic stress disorder, that sort of thing. And I remember my director calling me in one morning, it was a Tuesday, and saying that on the Thursday I would be flown up on a small aeroplane from Farnborough up north to present our findings to a group of middle-aged northern men. He didn't say that. He wouldn't, of course, but the investigations, the research that I did on who I was going to be presenting to told me that's who it was. At that time, we're talking over 3 decades ago now, that they weren't as liberal thinking as they are now, and there weren't many women in British Aerospace, managerial upwards at that time. I'm sure there are now. At least I hope there are now. Anyway, I was asked to do this. I had never presented to anybody about anything, not even a room of 2 people. So this was bringing lots of emotions to the surface, lots of anxiety and fear. And also I knew that I would have to present to them, I would have to know my subject matter inside out and upside down, so that when they asked me questions, I could confidently reply to them with positive answers. And I didn't know my subject matter. I don't even know why they chose me, and I wasn't particularly an assertive person at that time to say, well, why are you choosing me? I'm not the best option here. It just didn't come into the conversation. But I was a loyal person, and so that's why I just thought, well, they've chosen me for a reason, and it must be a good reason, otherwise they wouldn't entrust me to do this job for them. However, it didn't quell any of my fears, my anxiety, and my angst was enormous. And I lost my concentration at work, I lost my focus. I remember even the phone ringing, and for the first time in all the time I'd been there, I forgot where I was working. You know, I don't know how I answered the phone. I probably said nothing, or hello. I mean, I actually went completely blank, and this was, my overwhelm was kicking in. The panic was absolutely forcing itself up into every part of my being, and it really wasn't nice at all. Yeah, for anybody it's not nice, but for me it made me feel quite sick. Anyway, on the Wednesday, the day before, a friend invited me out to lunch. He was older than me, and he was really sweet, and he was knowledgeable, and he helped me write down a few notes and everything. But to be honest with you, I don't know if you've had this. Oh, God, if you have, I pity you, because it's not even a case of the information coming in one ear and coming out the other. It's not even that. It was as if I had cloths over my ears. I couldn't hear anything, and his mouth was moving, but I wasn't hearing anything he was saying. I was deaf in a sense. I was deaf by this overwhelm and this fear. Anyway, I didn't get any sleep that night, and the next morning I came into the office, and there was this note on my desk, and the note said 3 bits of advice, and it was from my friend John, who'd taken me to lunch the previous day, bless him. And 2 bits I don't need to cover here because they were very relevant to my subject matter. But the 3rd one, actually, I am going to share with you. I took it to heart at the time, and it helped me tremendously. I've kept that A4 sheet of paper that he gave to me because I feel the love when I pick up that piece of paper, which is really sweet. and the wise knowledge that came from someone who had been there and done it. So basically, the piece of advice I have shared on numerous occasions, not to you as an audience, but I have shared it to many others. In fact, I started this series because of my niece, because she had gone into overwhelm, and I shared this with her and it helped her. Now, I have over the years embellished it from what he had written because it suits me better this way. And this is my advice, or John's advice, but embellished. And that is that whatever happens today, when you wake up tomorrow, the darkness will be replaced with daylight. The birds will still break and sing out at dawn. The world will still be spinning, and you'll still be on track in your life. And I can honestly say that 3 decades on, my life is still on track. And the very next day, the sun did rise, the daylight came, the darkness fell away, the birds woke me up at dawn, and the world was definitely still spinning. And I hope that you can take that away with you. Oh, and here's the thing, let me tell you this. At the very last minute, before I was due to drive to Farnborough to go and get on this small aeroplane, petrified out of my life. Actually, the aeroplane was an issue in itself because I'd never been on a small plane at that stage. My director came out and said, "Oh, it's okay, Mike's going instead of you." Why Mike couldn't have gone in the first place, I have no idea. Mike was my manager, for God's sakes, at that time. I have no clue why he wasn't up for the job initially. Anyway, he was from up north, so he would have done a far better job than me. Even though I shared a flat with 2 Yorkshiremen and a chap from the Midlands at the time. But anyway, it just goes to show that perhaps I didn't believe enough in myself at that time. I do now, thank God. Anyway, next time, what am I doing next time? No, I might just take you through a visualization. This works really well with calming you. So maybe a visualization. If I do, bring some oils with you. If you've got anything lying around, something that's quite calming or energizing, one or the other, it doesn't matter which. Bring both if you like. Something like lavender or grapefruit, lemon, lime, something zingy, or something very calming. Then bring those with you and we will do a visualization next time. Okay, I look forward to it. Bye.